like window watching. People don't realise how much you can see, especially if you leave the curtains open. It's a very informative pastime. You can learn an awful lot about a person, particularly from their window boxes. I was convinced the woman opposite was having an affair. Fellow turned up, tanned, slick hair, tight t-shirt. Blinds used to go up and down like nobody's business. One day, her husband comes back early. I thought, here we go, it'll all kick off now. But they just stood there in the bedroom, pointing at the walls. I thought, funny sort of threesome if you ask me. It wasn't until the new sofa arrived that I realised he was the interior decorator. They were so pleased with their new three-piece, they invited him and his boyfriend round for a barbecue. That Mildred's a funny one. Always spying on people. I mean, there's having a perusal and then there's being obvious. Subtlety is a refined art. This one's bold as brass. She's got a periscope. Little thing she got in a Christmas cracker, takes it out into the garden and pops it over the fence. Only thing is, the jasmine's a bit thin on the trellis, so the neighbours can see right through. Whole body pressed up against the fence, face buried in the latticework. It's a sight, I can tell you. They try and talk to her, but she won't have none of it. Thinks she's invisible. James Bond, or the female equivalent thereof. Talks to the dog, though. Oh, yes. Full-on, long conversations. Ursula told me she's been inside her house, and it's full of holiday photographs. Apparently, she frequents those nature beaches. You know, the ones where they take all their clothes off. Goes every year, apparently. Then there's Charles, who lives in the basement at number 12. Quiet chap, don't see him much. Spends all day at his computer. A writer, apparently. Last month he put out this bird feeder. Tiddly little thing. I thought you won't get them round here. Few sparrows turned up. I think he likes to watch them through the window. Must have encouraged him because, lo and behold, a week later he plants this whacking great big triple-decker of a stand right in the middle of the garden. You'd have to see it to believe it. It's got 6 levels. A plate, then 4 containers, 2 long ones that look like Victorian lanterns, a seed sack and a jar-shaped one. Oh, and a water feeder. Each little article has its own individual condiments inside. It's like Fortnum and Mason's for birds. I said to Ursula, it's like a fairground ride for them. I mean, orbs strewn all over the place. He's got so many, the garden's festooned with the bloody things. Number 9 used to be owned by a lady called Philippa. I'd pop over sometimes and we'd sit together on the bench. But she passed away last winter. Now it's been brought by this American couple. Oh, they ripped the whole lot out, gutted it. It's a shame, really. Well, they must have spent an absolute fortune on it. Latest gadgets, a flat screen, music in the walls, one of those space-age hanging chairs from the ceiling. All that money, and they have the builders in and out constantly, fixing the floor, rising damp. I say, do your job and do it properly. Hardly ever there, though. And when they are, you know, because all the lights go on in the house. Fuel an entire village with the electricity they use. It's like living underneath the Eiffel Tower. That's the woman I live with. Sweet lady, but not very bright.
Ruthie?
My name's Consuela, but she calls me Ruthie. I have tried telling her, but she just doesn't get it. I think it's easier the shorter it is. I gave up in the end. Ursula has the same problem with her family. Ursula is my friend from down the road. Oh, I haven't seen her in a while. Sometimes she doesn't come out for days. Stays inside watching telly. I don't think it's healthy, that. I popped round the other day. She was in the middle of the lawn, stretched out on her side. I said, "You're right there, love." She just moaned and rolled over. I thought best leave her to it. I don't like to intrude. Kids live a couple of doors down, though from the noise you'd think they were living on top of you. They let them out to let off steam, but then of course everybody else is subjected to them. Oh, you should hear them. Stop that, stop that. Mum, he's copying me. Mum, he's copying me. Then they forget that they're having an argument and think it's a game. I'm bouncing, I'm bouncing. They're currently going through a Harry Potter phase, wizarding jewels from opposite ends of the garden. You're supposed to stay lying down once you're dead. Woman came over the other day to visit Grace, the lady I live with. I was sitting in the sedan chair, minding my own business, when she came in and stared at me. Didn't even take her shoes off, coming into the living room. I always say that manners are installed at an early stage. Guests are like dogs. You have to let them know the ground rules from the start, otherwise they get confused. She had this cheap perfume on and she looked at me and said, "Oh, it must be nice to sleep all day." I didn't pay her any notice. I make a point of ignoring newcomers. They soon get the message. I said to Ursula, some of them don't understand. Cats are very different from humans. Anyway, I'd best be off for my mid-morning nap now. I'll just be able to squeeze in 40 winks before my afternoon sojourn. I'll see you around, I expect.